Good morning. When my parents moved out of their last house, the most recent one of the points of nostalgia that they left behind was the door jamb to the laundry room that had all of the markings of their grandchildren and children who'd ever walked through those doors. You know the ones I mean. The ones where they measure the height of the person and how much they've grown between visits or over the years. And if you think about that, there's such excitement when we're young, when we're little, about growth. Look, Mom, look how much I've grown. Look, Dad, look how far I can throw now. That sense of achievement, that sense of progress, the sense of excitement. I mean, really, we prize our growth. It's like a trophy for many of us. Look at this. It's a marker of what we stretch for. When I grow up, I will be. And somewhere along the line, that stops being a priority for us. Not that we're not growing, but that we're not marking growth anymore. How do we mark the progress we've made in life? And I don't know if it's because we finally achieved the things we used to stretch for as children. We're as tall as we hoped we'd be. We did well on those grades, and now we have the job we want. And maybe we've even had the expression of pride from our parents, which a lot of times our eagerness to be noticed. That growth we're making is about that affirmation that we receive from the adults around us. But my question to you is, this year, 2021, are you growing? Are you paying attention to the progress that you're making in your life? Are you actively involved in learning more about yourself? You haven't arrived. You're not done. And of course, everyone would say to me, of course I haven't arrived, Monique. There's so much more to do. And yet we could look at, if we're not paying attention to growing or celebrating growth like we used to, what's the purpose? What's the point of growing? We just get older. Our hair gets more gray. There are new wrinkles on our face. What's the purpose? And you could say, really, that's what happens along the way from point A to point B. That's the purpose of growth. Am I learning anything new about myself? I told you this story in one of our past videos. It's very funny, where I visited my parents and asked my dad if he wanted a glass of lemonade. And my mom answered for him, no, he doesn't want one. Because I know him so well, she said. Well, do we get to the point in our lives where we think we know ourselves so well that we're no longer interested in ourselves? There's nothing that surprises us about ourselves anymore? Growing. Growth. Change. So this year, this week, today, spend a little time. How am I growing? Not how have I changed over this pandemic year. That's good too. But how am I growing? And am I intentional? Do I intentionally set my sights on new achievements? Do I try new things to stretch myself out of the norm and out of my comfort zone? Do I take a new way to work intentionally, even if it's longer? Do I try a new lunch when I go out? Do I try a new coffee or tea? How am I intentionally working to grow? So many opportunities, and we'd say, really, if we're not open to growth, how can God lead us to the next best thing? How can the divine actually invite us forward if we think we've already been every place we ever need to be? Spend a little time on that today, giving thanks for where you've been. And remember that growth is not just for children. There was something really smart about us little people. We were excited about growth. So, how can we be excited about what's growing in us today?